What's up, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of Tiny Bunny. Hope everyone is well tonight. We might just finish tonight. We'll see. Depends on how long this chapter is. Stomp Your Hooves and Wait is the name of this chapter. Let's get started. Benji. There's a ton of shit all over the stove that should not be there, and it's not my job to clean that up, so I opted into just a breakfast burrito. Nice. No mac and cheesies for this cigar tonight. Alright. Welcome in, Vaya. Alright, so last we left off, we've got another person missing. I, for one, am okay with her being missing because wasn't a very good person to begin with. But there haven't been a lot of great people in this game, so yeah, the art's great. Biasha joined us at the table, gnawing anxiously on his lower lip. Toshik, you're almost living in that fucking forest. Have you seen anything strange yesterday, eh? I replied with a complete lie. Nuh-uh. Me either. I got lucky in the homeroom teacher complained to my folks about my grades, so they didn't let me out for our rehearsal. If they did, we'd be in Katya's shoes right now. Biasha scratched at his Adam's apple. So, here's the thing. I heard something. I was going to school this morning as usual, and then I heard a shrill cry coming from behind the trees. A girl's voice. See what I mean? I don't know about Katya then. I even if I did, it would have still been scary, guys. Mornings here are as bad as nights. It's so dark you can't see a thing. What if it was Katya? And it was in the worst possible place, among the windfall near the cemetery. Bullshit. I swear, he heard it with my own ears. Are you sure Katya really went missing? Look, even her mom, Lena Pavlovna, didn't show up for work today. The test is off, eh? I'm telling you guys, it was Katya, moaning in the taiga. The serial killers got her though, too. I remembered Katya. She was both beautiful and mean. The first girl in our class with a maturing body to the envy of all the other girls. The main source of gossip, a snake, and a bitch. Biasha started counting with his fingers. Snechka, Vova, Semyon, Katya. 4 people. Roma slammed his hands on the desk. Alright, guys. From now on, we always keep up our guard. Don't split up from the group like in those stupid horror movies. I don't care about the rest, but you two are under my protection. And Polina too. I hope your relationship works out. I had already forgotten that I was ever into Polina. The only girl occupying my thoughts after last night was Elisa. The boys went to the cafeteria and I was left alone, scribbling in my notebook, drawing rows of pines and 2 small figures, lying between the treetops and the moon. Shivers ran up to my shoulders, sneaking playfully under the hem of my shirt. Even those soaring through the sky felt so simple, there was still something evil weighing me down. Yeah, those are two of the bullies. They're now my friends. The third bully, who was being mean and beating me up, he went missing. Was it the stolen signet ring or the heavy look those missing kids from the notice board were giving me? The culprit was definitely still in the village. They were hiding something horrible under a mask of piousness. What are you drawing? Embarrassed, I covered the notebook as if there was something shameful about the figures above the forest. Nothing really, just fooling around. Polina put her elbows on the desk. I'd already forgotten how light and graceful she was, just like a violin. I wish she could also jump around with us after stripping away her mask of fake mundanity. I smiled, imagining Polina's skirt flapping in the wind, the stars sparkling all around us, her asking in bewilderment whether it was all a dream. And telling myself, and myself telling her that it doesn't matter. Polina's expression grew dark again. Have you heard about Katya? It's a tragedy. Yeah. It's also tragic that I find it difficult to empathize with her. I tried so hard, but then I remembered all her nasty deeds, and I'm a monster, aren't I? No, I thought, you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met, but alas, you're only number 2 on that list. I decided not to say that out loud. It's okay that I felt worse when It's not okay that I felt worse when I lost my questionnaire than when she went missing. Aha, that's how Elisa knew. My nostrils picked up the smell of candy, tree resin, and fireworks. You lost your questionnaire? Yes. Somebody out there is reading other people's secrets now. Yes, the forest, I thought, imagining the crooked branches, turning notebook pages, touching the childish handwriting with their icy twigs. I hope the search goes well. I was unsure whether she spoke about Katya or the notebook. I wanted to ask about it, but then I noticed Polina's intense stare directed at me. What? You've changed. I smoothed my hair flat, surprised. I just didn't sleep well tonight. You're a different melody today. Some mysterious, ancient tune. I thought about the flute's melody streaming between the bushy treetops. I hope you haven't told anyone about our chat yesterday. Of course not. She nodded as if acknowledging that she can fully trust me. I was unsure whether I merited such trust. Want to go for a walk after school? Grandpa has been feeling better recently. I can return home a bit later. Her hair cascaded down around her shoulders. The smell was so wonderful that it sent me flying toward the glowing stars of my inner cosmos without any magic. Sure. But let's head out through the back exit. The one near the gym. Hiding from someone? I shifted my gaze to the desk in front of me. My buddies left us alone, giving me ample opportunity to betray them. Guilty conscience gripped my heart in its tiny jaws. Yeah, see, one of the bullies likes Polina for himself. So that's going to be a problem. It's not totally going to catch up with us sometime soon. Is it because of Ramka? You don't want him to know? He likes you. It's hard not to notice. But you boys always forget the most important part. You need to ask the girl first. and the girls saying, "After school, near the back exit." I smiled, relieved. Guilty conscience returned to devour my heart the moment Ramka came back and tossed a lingonberry bun my way, winking. "Eat up. You'll need a lot of energy for our little play." Yet I, the actor, was supposed to play the villain, didn't show up for that play. I left the school early, 20 minutes before the algebra class was supposed to end. I lied to the teacher about having a toothache. I hid behind the bushes near the school, like some criminal. Polina soon arrived. Are we waiting for something? What happened? Did we freeze? The snow's still going. Let's just wait for a second. Okay, so nothing's gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, that is true horror for sure. Alright. Hey, I'm here. Oh, she was just waiting for us to yell out to her. "If you want to hide so badly, why not dig yourself into a snow pile?" I realized I was trying to play both sides here, secretly win Polina over without losing Ramka's support. I wonder what will happen if any of them find out about my scheme. Come on, let's go. Okay. We started walking along the school's football field. The sun was bright, but it did nothing to warm the frozen soil. The twilight hid in the thicket, anxiously waiting for the moment when it could come out and devour the village. I've already forgotten the city's bustle. This place is so tranquil. Oh, and I dream of that cacophony. What? My companion burst out laughing. A cacophony is the chaotic mixture of sounds. Grandpa always taught me to look for a melody in everything. He sounds like a philosopher. He's a local historian. At least he used to be. Your grandpa sounds cool. He truly is. I'll introduce you soon. Are you inviting me to come over? You don't want to? No, of course I do. I kept sneaking glances at Polina. She was like a precious gem, its sides gleaming, shimmering, changing ever so slightly. What? Her eyes, full of innocent laughter, asked me. Nothing, I replied without speaking. You're brave. I like that. I'm brave? I still remember how you fought back with Barbarin. It was nothing. It was very important for girls to feel safe, you know. It's an honor for me to protect you. See, I told you. That expression was straight out of some novel. It's an honor, milady. Polina started giggling. I fake pouted, but I couldn't keep myself from smiling in the end. The village looked abandoned, desolate. Rickety fences, ravines full of garbage. This place probably looks nice in the summer since it's full of greenery. But during the winter, under the icy crust, under the snowy blanket, I turned around from time to time to check if my good friends who weren't good or friendly to me anymore were following in my wake. Dogs barked and clanged their chains behind the fences, but they grew quiet the moment we reached the next house. Trying to imagine that ghosts are clanging with those chains. Oh, I love ghost stories. Grandpa tells them all the time. She stopped in front of a small but cozy-looking house with a snow-covered roof, then put her hand on the small gate. Her eyes pierced me as if trying to peek into the depths of my soul. You see, I always mention how good, caring, and smart my grandpa is, but it's only half of the truth. Lately, he's been acting sort of... She paused, searching for the right words. Funny? Yeah, that's it. He became like that as he aged. So please, do not be surprised by him. Sir, yes, sir. No acting surprised. Aha. At ease, soldier. We walked toward the house on a thin, cleaned path. Polina unlocked the door. The long hallway was full of shadows. The door slammed shut behind our backs, cutting us off from the roaring wind and all the other outside sounds. The place became so silent that I could hear Polina's heart beating. I want to cover it with my hand and feel it with my palm, with my lifelines. Lifeline, one of the most significant signs in the practice of palmistry, a divination art that interprets the distinctive features of each hand, such as lines and mounts, to obtain information about a person's destiny and personality. Palmistry gained wide popularity among Russian youth in the 80s and 90s, influenced in part by the strong presence of Romanian culture in the region, from which this art originated.
Ты всегда так застываешь?
Do you always freeze like this?
Как будто у тебя в голове стоп-кран нажали.
As if someone pulled an emergency brake in your head? My imagination is running wild.
Понимаю.
Oh, look at the horn here. That's cool. Ah, I see. She took off her coat and hung it on a wall hook.
Раздевайся, разувайся.
Come on, take your stuff off. I'll go clean up the room in the meantime. Grandpa always forgets his things everywhere. I'll be quick. Oh, the door. Okay, she went through the door. She floated away like as a butterfly. Another butterfly of a steel kind had a real chance of floating inside my gut in the near future. I took off my coat, untied my shoelaces. A tiny squeak reached my ears. Alright, so what can we look at here? We got a mirror, a phone. Oh, let's go back. Wow, there's so much junk in here, just like in a junk shop. Or like at the village cemetery dump where people throw away plastic flowers, splinters from rotten crosses, and dirty stripes of gilded words of condolences. Why did I think Polina's grandpa brought all this stuff from a cemetery dump? Those don't have toys. There's an owl there. Or a tambourine that, like in those books about northern shamans. And this, what was it called again? A dream catcher? Yeah, there it is right there. I think it didn't catch any dreams, but it did catch a haymaker spider. And the stench, no wonder I can hear flies buzzing in this place. There's a bear. Even in the middle of winter, it smells like thawed lard and wet soil. I guess you just get used to it if you stay here long enough. What else we got? A pair of tourist skis. Dad told me stories of how he would make his own skis and ski poles and even his own ski wax from beeswax, rosin and pine resin. A good fit for the harsh winters around here, but these skis are in need of maintenance. The bindings are in very bad condition and they have dark red spots in them, probably just rust. If one were to stand in front of the phone, the wallpaper patterns would look like a set of watchful eyes. So, this is the place Polina called me from. She stood right here under the electric meter among the shadows, twirling the phone cord. Maybe she even played with the light switch, turning the lights off at times, and speaking to me in the dark. I know this painting, Paganini. The guy was so good at playing the violin that other people had decided he sold his soul to the devil. This portrait was drawn by Nikolai Fechin. He was a famous Russian painter that moved to America after the revolution and became famous there too. Wow, Paganini has such long fingers. Kind of looks like AI. And such a piercing stare. What is he looking at? Maybe he did sell a soul after all? Would Polina sell hers, I wonder? I don't get why adults hang something like this in their homes. Crooked, sharp outgrowths. I've read that animals don't get hurt when their horns that are already hardened get trimmed. Still, it's the same as plastering your wall with clipped fingernails. They are also cornified objects that were once part of a living organism. The reflections in this mirror are so sharp and deep, my gaze drowns in it. It feels more like a doorway than a mirror, with an identical room with skis and sticky-to-the-touch wallpaper behind it. An electric meter which barely worked during the last month, as if Polina and her grandpa spend the evening in complete darkness. And then... Huh? Phew. Just a hunting trophy. You caught the hog. Did we get everything? They like to do jump scares in this game. Alright. So I think we got everything. I looked into the deeper part of the house while taking off my boots. Semi-dark masked the corner of the end of the corridor. Something moved toward me, making the dry floorboard squeak. 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 The sound grew louder. I realized that I stepped back toward the door without thinking. Polina? A wheelchair appeared from around the corner. A stocky old man protruded from the darkness. I like his image. You must be Polina's classmate, right?
Anton Petrov.
Yes, my name's Anton Petrov. We shook hands. His grip was surprisingly firm. Good to meet you. Very good. I am Kariton, a name of Greek origin. It means charitable. And do you know the meaning of your name? I've never thought about it. It comes from Latin, atio, someone who goes into battle. I chuckled in reply. Apparently my name has brave roots. And Polina? Polina is a name of French origin. Oh, sorry. Polina is a name of French origin. If I remember correctly, it means sunlight. Of course, the sunlight. The enchanting views of France, the Parisian sky, all of that sounded like Polina. You know a lot about names. I gave all my dolls unique names. Dolls? Haven't Polina told you? I used to work as a puppeteer in a theater. Then one day, a night guard fell asleep while smoking there. He died, and the theater burned down. All my dolls burned down. What a shame. I was pretty sure that Polina told me her grandpa was a local historian. He squinted. And have you heard, Anton Petrov, that people in the ages past used to have two names? Their true name, and the one they shared with strangers. It was believed that if a person's true name ended up in the hands of a bad people, it could spell disaster for its owner. Those names could be used to hex, or even kill. Really? Yes, really. And the names they gave to the animals were also deliberate. Zayats come from Zayasti, in Lithuanian, a hopper, and Volk comes from Old Slavic Vlak, one who drags. Zayats and Volk. Keratin explains that the etymology of the words for bunny and wolf in Russian. The English translation uses transcribed versions of those words to ensure the comparison to the other languages in this line makes sense phonetically. Wolf, Volk, Zayats, bunny, so phonetically, okay. So ba, v, za, ye, and ne, and yeah, I guess I can see it. Keratin rolled closer, and crossed his hands on his chest. I wondered to myself where Polina's parents were. She never spoke about her mom, only about her grandpa. I decided to ask a question to continue the conversation. And what about the bear? Oh, the bear's name is still a mystery. Our ancestors were so afraid of that beast, they decided to forget the word that they used to call it with. It just disappeared from their language. We were left with a much more recent interpretation, one who oversees the honey. A pun based on two syllables that make Russian word for bear, one of which means honey, while the other means to have knowledge of something, to oversee something. Interesting. Yeah, Anton agrees. Sounds interesting. The old man's smile became wider, revealing a stockade of metal implants. He raised his hand and waved it in the air like a rake that was scratching at an empty space. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The squeaking sound made me shrink instinctively. Here comes the bear, on a thick hind leg, with a long birch cane. The only thing more terrifying than the soft-locked game education. Here comes the bear. The excerpt is from an old Russian folk tale that tells the story of a bear that steals turnips from a village. During one of his thefts, the bear gets attacked by an old peasant who chops off one of the bear's hind legs and gives it to his wife to make soup from the meat and cloth from the wool. The bear later returns to the village with a fake hind leg to exact his revenge on the family, only to fall into the cellar inside their house and get killed by the villagers. And villagers is spelled incorrectly. I wonder if there's a way to report grammatical issues, because I know they translated this from Russian, and I'm wondering how I can help. The whole village sleeps. All the peasants sleep. One old hag is awake, sitting on my skin. Benji's here, spinning my brown fur, feasting on my flesh. If this was what Polina warned me about, I had already broken my promise. It's not like I got surprised, more like I became seriously concerned. According to the legends, that morbid tale happened right in our village, just like many others. There's also this one. The previous century was tough on simple folk. They had close to no money, and even less food, just like nowadays. Peasants resorted to robbing of the taiga, that is, a crucian here, a goose there, and the chief gamekeeper. Not only didn't he prevent them from doing so, but he also spearheaded the poaching efforts. Yeah, they may take offense to unwanted grammatical corrections. Yeah, that's true. But like village being spelled with the L misplaced, you'd think that they wouldn't mind that. I'll let them take care of it. He became the richest man in the village. His cellar was almost ready to burst. The gamekeeper posted everywhere he went. This forest is mine. I'm the master here. He then formed a family, got himself a bunch of servants, and a humble estate. It was such a joyful occasion that he ordered a feast that spanned for the whole day, up until nightfall. What? When the clock struck 12, though, dogs started barking outside. Go, the game master shouted to his servants. Throw some bones to the dogs. Time passed and somebody knocked on his gates. Go, he shouted to his family. Chase away the guests. He was left alone at the table. Not a single soul. Oh, sorry. He was left alone at the table. Not a single soul was coming back. Then he heard dogs howling, only to go silent again. There's another missing N. And then someone started banging on his door. And this just came out recently, like a month or two ago. So, bam, bam, bam. I licked my parched lips and instinctively looked over the man's shoulder, praying in my mind that Polina would come back soon and interrupt this eerie monologue. Yet only shadows writhed behind Harrison's back. The game master got scared to death and ran to the cellar. He slammed the door, the lock shut. Then suddenly, somebody spoke from outside. Love, it is me, your wife. Open up. No way, never. The voice became harsher, more forceful. I'm starving, love. At least give me something from our supplies. Be gone in the name of the Lord, the game master shouted and fell to his knees in prayer. The next moment, the voice roared. If you won't come in one piece, at least you give me a slice. The game master spent the rest of the night inside, trembling from fear. And when he gathered enough bravery to come out, he found his family and servants hanged on their own guts along the main road. And in the blink of the eye, his manor became infested with wild beasts. There's a bear, a fox or a wolf, and an owl. Because the taiga had no bounds, one part of it existed in our world, and in the other, in a place where night never ends. The game master tried to escape the cursed village, but the true forest master got to him in the end. I spoke in a shaky voice, and What did the Force Master do to him? The old man tilted his head and burst out laughing. It's easier to name what he didn't do. Anton. The old man's eyes pinned me to the door leaf. Come on in, Anton. The old man stayed silent for a moment. Then he smiled as if nothing ever happened and rolled his wheelchair back. My, look at me, talking your ear off. Go. I brushed off my stupor and minced across the corridor. It was nice meeting you. You too, Anton Petrov. You too. I felt relieved when I finally slipped into Polina's room. It looked just like its owner. Cute and tidy. Hey Vulcan, I don't speak Russian, sorry. But I am enjoying this Russian game. Do you speak English at all? A huge collection of vinyl records and a record player. I guess that's a no. Immediately caught my attention. The walls were adorned by framed photographs.
Дедушка тебя не сильно донимал?
I hope Grandpa wasn't annoying you. No, he's a very intriguing
Небось, ты теперь
person.
знаешь все о своем имени.
I bet you know everything about your name now. I forced out a laugh. My eyes slid across the photos. Alright, we've got a few. A Sailor Moon poster. This cartoon is for girls. Transformers are way better, and drawing them is much more interesting, especially when they transform, when they change shape. Well, Sailor Moon changes shape too. Although if Polina had the 2x2 channel on her TV, and she invites me to watch it together, I won't refuse. In the name of the moon, I shall punish you. A bit too old-fashioned, but I like it. Let's see what Polina has in her collection. Vinyl records from Melodia, and some much rarer ones from Jugoton, a company in Yugoslavia. Oh. I like it. I don't know if they're still here. Hopefully they are. Rachmaninoff, Svirdov, very areas performed by Hilbla Gersmava. Only classics, no Toto Catugno, no Demis Roussos. She even had some bone music, recordings made with an electro recorder over x-ray shots. The needle slides on the picture of someone's ribs and you can hear David Ostrip playing a violin. A Kuzbass piano, not a speck of dust on the cover. This is the place where she practices. Let's see what pieces she has in her music sheets. Handles Capriccio Sol Minor. Looks like the name of a pizza Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle would eat. Name of a pizza Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle would eat. Meanwhile, I won't even be able to play a flea waltz. Alright, I think that's everything. Oh, look, there's a little kitten and another mirror. Huh. Is that a bear? It's a bear there. Are these your parents? Polina looked down. Da.
Они погибли много лет назад. Я их практически
They
не
died
помню.
many years ago. I can barely remember them. Oh. I felt like a total idiot. I could have guessed Polina was an orphan. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Дедушка воспитывал меня как родную дочь.
Grandpa raised me as his own daughter. I'm forever grateful to him. I can imagine how tough it was. Oh, sorry, I can imagine how tough it was. Wrong voice. Polina flashed me a sad smile and brushed off a mischievous lock of hair from her face. Let's stop talking about sad stuff.
Познакомься с Джоанной.
Meet Joanna instead. I bent down to take a better look at the cat that was snuggled up beside the radiator. Hi, Joanna. The cat hit her tail on the radiator's fins, then hissed, showing her fangs.
Прости, она не особо дружелюбна.
I'm sorry. She's not exactly friendly. I'm used to that kind of reaction. What's with that name, Joanna?
Про имена.
Still not tired of talking about
Джоанна
names?
из сериала «Елена и ребята».
Joanna
Смотрел?
is from Helena and the Boys. Have you seen it? A French TV series targeted at teenagers that was broadcast all over Europe, including most Eastern European countries in the middle of the 1990s. I snorted. That show's for girls.
Я вот и
Oh,
трансформеров.
come on. I, for one, watch the Transformers, too. Really now?
Ты
And
меня
who's your
проверяешь?
favorite? Is that the test?
Допустим, Мегатрон.
Well, let's say it's Megatron. Aha. Didn't you say you dislike bad
Но вот
guys?
ему
I
удалось
do.
растопить мои
But he
сердца.
alone was able to thaw my heart. Polina grabbed at her chest in a comical manner. Did you know that Optimus and Megatron were friends and they fought against Cybertron's supremacy together? But after Optimus was chosen as the new leader, Megatron went
Боюсь,
to the
что у
dark
тебя с
side.
Пятифановым повторится та же
I'm
история.
afraid something similar might happen to you and Piatfinov. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Well, nobody chose me as leader.
Я выбрала.
Well, let's say I did. My face had probably turned red again. Polina sat down on the couch and fixed the
Чем
bedspread.
займемся?
That's not sitting. So what are we going to do? Her pose and playful gaze hypnotized me. Dimmed lights helped create a special, exciting atmosphere inside the room. I felt a faint aroma of blackberry, but also something more elusive. Captivating. At that moment, my usual embarrassment suddenly morphed into some explainable vigor. I wanted to show off and brag and do everything in my power to keep Polina's gaze fixed on me for as long as possible. I imagined myself to be like Agent 007, ready to seduce another femme fatale with his stunning looks. As if mimicking the hero of spy action movies, I crossed my hands on my chest, and with a mischievous smile on my face, decided to lean against the wall. I thought to myself to be quite charming at that particular moment, and yet a clanking sound stopped me from enjoying the graceful pose. I failed to notice an open piano and sat right down the middle of its keys. I had lost all of my charms after almost reaching the ceiling in one scared jump, followed by the instrument's lid slamming shut with a bang. At the same moment, a friend Joanna jumped off the chair. Wow! The cat rushed up the curtain and then dashed across the wall to safety of the wardrobe's top, ripping out slices of wallpaper along the way. Shit. Pieces of a torn-up Sailor Moon poster that, by pure chance, happened to be in the way of the scared animal fell to my feet. Judging from the look on Polina's face, she really liked that poster. Sorry, it was an accident. She closed her eyes, her lips twisted and forehead wrinkled. It seemed like Polina was about to scream or cry, but she just sighed and spoke in a calm voice.
Беда.
It's okay.
нет такой поломки, которую нельзя починить
There's
с
nothing
помощью
that can't be
изоленты.
fixed with electric tape.
Ну, в этом случае с помощью
Well,
скотча.
duct tape in our case.
Давай, помогай.
Give me a hand here. Ooh, we get to assemble a... Nice. I like puzzles. The last piece fell in its place and it seemed like the room's harmony was restored along with the poster. That's a really ripped up poster. This is a character from Sailor Moon, right? Sailor Jupiter, I think? No way. This is Sailor Saturn. Her name is Hataru, and she is a warrior of destruction. Yet, instead of destroying the world, she ended up saving it. I've always liked her the most. So yeah. Oh, and she also has two different personalities in her. Can you imagine? She had, at the very least, Joanna ripped her into at least a dozen more. I glanced at Polina and inquired in a soft voice, "How do you usually spend your evenings?" Polina shrugged and looked at me as if bored. I watch TV or play violin for Grandpa. He wants to make me into the new David Oistrakh. One of the most prominent Russian violinists, he was also well known for his musical conductor skills, earning the rank of master in that field. Died from heart stroke, hours after one of his concerts. David who? He was a famous violinist. So he's forcing you to play? Forcing me? Nothing of the sort. This is my chance to move to a big city and lead a better life. Touring different countries, meeting new people. I felt a sting of stupid jealousy from her words. Can you play something for me? Are you sure? Of course. Alright, but keep in mind that I'm a bit under the weather today. She procured the violin from its case. The polished frame glittered in the lamplight. It is not an ordinary violin. It was made in the 17th century by a violin artisan named Girani, and Oistrakh himself used it for his first concert. Is it expensive? It is worth at least a couple $1,000,000. My jaw dropped. Polina replied with laughter. I wish you could see her face right now. I'm joking, it's dirt cheap. If I had one of the Girani violins, I would have lived in Moscow. Hey, I knew you were joking. Sure. Polina took a proper playing pose and clutched the violin between her shoulder and jaw. Then brought the bow to the strings. Via diez minor. The bow slid across the strings, saturating the air inside the room with music. I sat on the windowsill, amazed at the melody's power. Kind of reminds me of the flute. The snow's going upward. Polina looked so graceful while playing. Her bow soared, It cut open space-time. Her slender fingers moved with inhuman speed. A phantom smile shouldered on the girl's lips. Smoldered on the girl's lips, excuse me. It felt like the music, that mysterious Fa diez minor, was akin to a gust of wind that found its way inside the house, bringing along smells of the sea and faraway cities. And every new gust made it even more difficult to breathe for my enthralled self. The melody carried me up to the skies, bringing back memories of that night when I was jumping over the forest. But just like everything good, it ended way too fast. Polina froze for a moment, then lowered her hand and bowed. The waterfall of her fragrant hair swayed back and forth. I jumped up, clapping. Bravo! Who composed this? Robert Schulman. I have a new favorite composer now. The second syllable turned into an incredulous cry when someone wailed under my foot. Joanna. I forgot all about the cat and all my excitement and ended up stepping on her tail. She didn't give me time to apologize. Oh shit. Joanna crawled up my leg and clung to my thigh. Her sharp claws pierced my skin through the pants. Ow, ow, ow! Polina came to my rescue by slapping the cat on the back of her head. Joanna, you foul thing, shoo. Playing as Harry Potter, having listened to a girl playing violin. The cat jumped on the wall rug and retreated from the room after opening the door with her paw. I winced when touching my thigh. It was probably quite scratched up. Polina gave me a sympathetic hug. Does it hurt? Not really. It was my fault. I'll show her what attacking my guests entails. I was worried less about the pain and more about the damage done to my clothes. My pants were riddled with tiny holes. Well, Mom sure will be happy about this. At the same time, Polina's attention was flattering. Your Joanna is quite a strong lady. You'll get along. If you don't bleed out on me, of course. She turned around and searched the room with her eyes. I thought we had iodine around here. Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry. What do you mean? Nobody has ever died in my bedroom before. Where's the bed? Are we sitting on it, or is it like above the camera? I'd prefer keeping it that way. For now, take off your pants. I imagined myself standing in front of Polina in just my underwear. Imagined her bending down to treat my wounds. That fantasy scalded my mind like hot steam. Please, let's not do it, Polina. She didn't listen, just soaked a piece of cotton in a brownish liquid from a small, strong-smelling bottle. I'm ready, patient. Pull them down. Come on, I'll rinse it when I get home. Started getting phantom scratches on my leg from the shot of the cat scratch bite. Yeah, they did a pretty good job animating that. My reply erased the smile from her beautiful lips. A horizontal wrinkle ran across her nose bridge. She spoke in a voice with a tinge of capriciousness. Stop resisting. Let me help you. She rubbed... Oh, I see. The damage. Got it. She rubbed my leg lower than where my wound was. You can't reject girls like that. Polina took a bold step toward me and grabbed the buckle of my pants belt. I tried dodging, but to no avail. The girl was already behind me, placing her fingers under the belt and tried to pull down my pants. Oh, no, you don't. She giggled. I spun around and Polina pressed her body into mine, bursting with laughter. She sank her teeth into my arm ever so slightly and tugged on the belt. I stepped back, stumbled on the couch, and ended up sprawled on its soft surface. Polina landed on top of me. Her hair covered my face and tickled my nostrils. I felt the vibrations coming from Polina's chest. She was laughing. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they've established their age as, but they are young. So, 12 to 16, somewhere in there. I also felt the chilly draft of the exposed skin of my thighs. She managed to pull down my pants after all. I lay underneath her, partially naked, dying from embarrassment. Polina pulled away. Her laughter died down. She blew a lock of hair away from her face and looked me straight in the eye. Then pressed her small fist into her cheek and measured my face with her small fist into her cheek and measured my face with a thoughtful glance. Is there something on my face? No, but you're very handsome. That's not true. But you are honest. And you know, I think I've been waiting for you to appear in the village all of these years. My heart was thumping in a crazy rhythm. I felt it under my ribs, in my temples, all over my body. I completely forgot that I was lying underneath her without my pants on, rubbing my bare thigh against her leg. I really like your company. I like you too. I finally met someone who understands me. This is more valuable than a Guerny violin. I shifted my gaze to her lips. They were so close that I could see even the tiniest of wrinkles on their surface, just as parched as my own lips. If we don't have any other options... It's interesting that the animation changes. So she's looking this way, and then look at her lip curve. And her eyes look directly at us. Everything else stays the same, but that's pretty subtle. Polina lowered her eyelids, eyelashes fluttered, our lips touched. I felt dizzy as if I was falling into a bottomless pit. Every cell in my body sang in jubilation as if I was getting a taste of the most beautiful music, something even more perfect than Schumann's melody. Benji? And then I looked in the mirror, mounted on the wardrobe's door, and it reflected a half-open door in the corridor's gut. Keratin was peeping at us through the crack. Oh God. Can I get a couple more Santas backing into the bush, please? Thank you. His grim face floated in the black waters of darkness. His eyes pierced me, much deeper and angrier than feline claws. After getting his cover blown, the old man drove back away from the door and dissolved into tarry shadows. I parted my lips from Polina's distraught. I had to interrupt our sweet kiss. Polina gave me a questioning look and spoke in a frustrated voice. What's wrong? I entangled myself from her, stood up, trying to put my pants back on, and fastened the belt on my third attempt. Nothing. I just remembered I promised Mom to return home before dinner. Don't go. Polina, listen. Don't go, Tosha. Her voice trembled, silvery streams ran down her cheeks. I was taken completely by surprise. Polina's mood shifted in an instant, just like topics in her grandpa's monologue. Still, her grandpa was old and weird, and she... Take me with you. What happened, Polina? Please stop. I leaned into her, worried. Come, calm down, it's okay. I'm going mad here. I don't know. I'll off myself. Don't say that. She plopped on the bed. Face in her hands, sob turned into stifled cries. So the bed is the futon there. I shuffled my feet, puzzled with no idea how to react. Let's run away. We'll go out, gather our things tomorrow and go to the city. Yep, so they're 12, confirmed via. We're both just 12. And? Do you enjoy living in a wooden shack at the edge of the forest? Do you think I enjoy rotting away, cooped up inside? Her back arched. Her small fist pummeled the couch. If you're a man, take me away from this place. You need to leave, my inner voice blurted out. I couldn't help but agree. I'm sorry, you need to rest. Let's talk later. I went into the corridor mumbling. I might have acted like a coward, but I couldn't handle her fit of hysteria anymore. I put on my coat, shoved my feet down my boots. Scratch. Scratch. I stared at the darkness, imagining a man-eating bear. I could hear Polina's cries coming from the other side of the wall, while something was squeaking its way toward me. The wheelchair stopped 7 feet away, on the border between light and dark. Leaving so soon? I replied in a mumbling voice while tying my shoes. Sorry, my mom will get worried. Do you know your mother's true name, Antoine Petrov? Shadows swirled behind Keratin. I craved to leave this eerie place as soon as possible. Keratin is an interesting name because horns are made out of keratin. And he's got horns in the house here even, so it's very on the nose. No, I'm sorry. I started apologizing left and right, anxious. Why is Polina crying? What happened? Metal teeth shined in the dark. Let's go to the kitchen. Tea is ready. I've already cut up the cake. Mom is waiting for me. It's okay, she can wait a bit longer. Come. He let out a dissatisfied sob. I finally managed to fix the shoelace, so I sprang to my feet. The old man kept a strenuous smile on his face. I turned my back on him. My fingers struggled with the lock. Scratch, scratch. I'll be forced to stay, driven out by a wheelchair dragged away. Driven over by a wheelchair dragged away. Scratch, scratch. The door opened, letting the chilly air inside the stuffy corridor. What's your true name? Goodbye. До свидания. I flew to the porch. To the trail that snaked between the houses. Benji, what's up? While I was at Polina's place, darkness had shrouded the village with its crow-like wings. I'll be right back. I gotta let Benji out. Just checking on where he was going. I don't want him waking up my wife. The howling wind made it feel alive, conscious. Lamplights firmly embedded into the night emanated a faint glow. I wiped my forehead. What was that? Why did Polina throw such a tantrum? And the old man who was peeping at us? No wonder she wanted to run away so badly. As soon as I remembered Keratin's metal teeth, goosebumps started running all over my skin. Hey! I shuddered and looked around. A fuzzy silhouette appeared near the fence. Who's there? A person stepped toward me into the ring of light. Oh boy. I know who that is. It's the bully. My soul almost left my body. Ramka. His cheeks were wet and his eyes reddened. He cried while hiding in the dark.
Привет.
Oh, well, hello there. Well, hello there.
Что ты тут делаешь?
No, I did that wrong. Well, hello there. What are you
What?
doing here?
Ты не пришел на наш
See,
спектакль?
you didn't show up for our play, so I got worried that something happened to you.
Как с Семеном и Катей.
Like Semyon and Katya. Oh shit. I heard a click and saw the shine of a butterfly knight. Fuck. Ramka's bloodless lips stretched into a scary grimace. His pupils glinted like a pair of coins.
Убери нож.
Roma, put away the knife.
Зачем?
Why?
Как без ножа я смогу разрезать
How
тебе
else would I be able to
глотки?
cut you from belly button up to your throat and see what traitors look like out in the inside? Roma. I backtracked, afraid of turning my defenseless shoulder blades toward him. Roma advanced toward me, scowling.
Да?
Hopefully our fox saves us. You were at her place, right?
Вольтрона. Говорит,
Command
центр
to
управления.
Voltron's
Как слышно?
right hand. Can you
Ты
hear
был
me?
у моей Полины?
You were at my Polina's place, right?
Рисовал ее? Трогал?
Did you draw her? Did you touch her?
Все не так.
You've got it all wrong. I lied, of course. You got it right. In fact, I was even more guilty than that.
Жалкий ублюдок.
You scum. White bubbles formed at the edges of his mouth. He wiped off his face with a jerky motion, smearing the tears all over his cheeks even more. His eyes glazed over with a fog of hatred. The steel butterfly started slow upward movement, but then suddenly dove toward me, as if somebody fast-forwarded the tape. Ramka lunged at me. Shit! His face was the color of wax, and his eyes had a shine of phosphorus to them. I felt his tackle and lowered my eyes. The butterfly was fake? It probably came from the prank shop, the type of toy where the blade retracts into the handle. But then I realized I was wrong. That the reason the blade was invisible to me was because it was plunged into my chest. Fuck. Why did they... Oh my god, why did they do that? Why did they rip it away like, oh, everything's fine? It's completely inside me. Right between my ribs. Cold. Sharp. And only then did pain hit me. Just like the thunder that takes its sweet time to hit after the lightning. To my surprise, the pain wasn't exactly strong, but it felt uncomfortable, sinking, reverberating back in the back of my head. I grabbed Ramka's forearm. You ripped the knife out of me. No, that's exactly what you don't want to do. You gotta keep it in and get to the hospital. A dashed line of blood followed it in slow motion. The skin of the bony frame of Ramka's face stretched in a grotesque grimace, his jaws wide open with a thread of saliva taut between his teeth. I wanted to ask him to stop, but words got stuck in my throat. The world tilted and shook. So, we're gonna wake up, right? I fell to my knees. It was suddenly difficult to breathe, and if the air in my lungs turned into viscous dough. Oh, Benji's back. Yeah, Joanna is the true culprit. Ramka's just an accomplice. That's funny. Benji, if you knock down that lamp, I'm gonna be mad. Blood filled my mouth. Oh boy. It overflowed onto the snow. As I couldn't hold my head straight anymore, I was forced to stare at the scarlet pool. Then I plopped face first into it. Blood warmed my cheeks. I'll just lie down for a bit, and everything will be fine. It's okay. The doctors will patch me up. Ramka grabbed me from behind and flipped me around in one violent motion. I saw his twisted face and his fanatical eyes. Ramka grabbed the butterfly knife with both hands, growled, and then brought the weapon down. Shit! Into my stomach. Pain consumed my consciousness. I couldn't move. I couldn't even shut my eyes, even with all the hot droplets on my pupils. The knife flew up, and then pierced some sort of bubble inside me. Up, down, and up again. Jesus! Ramka screamed and sliced, and blood splashed into my face and it screamed upward in wide scarlet strips. Dozens of little fires sparked up in my head, only to die out one after another in the next moment. The parts of my brain where those weird fireflies died sank into darkness. Ramka's silhouette was now blurry. My eyes stopped following the knife. I looked up. My vision slid across my killer's blood-soaked face, up toward the darkening sky. In the most fleeting of moments, I saw the life I won't be able to live. A myriad of lost opportunities. As the sole specter in this empty movie theater, I stared at the screen. I saw Olya growing up without me. I saw the future kids that I will never hold in my arms. My aging parents living in the house at the edge of the forest. The bright galleries and exhibition halls, the walls of which will never see my adorned paintings. The pavements of cities I will never visit. The 21st century that I will not welcome. And a universe of people and things that were now irretrievably lost for me. I saw a blinding, scorching light. I had no idea if it was in the sky or under my lowering eyelids. The knife just kept on stabbing, but the pain was gone. My body no longer mattered. The movie was over. I disappeared into the bottomless void. We found an ending. We just got an achievement for it. Alright. The police have arrested a teenager who had stabbed one of his peers during an altercation. A fight broke out between two students from the 6th grade that resulted in one of them inflicting more than 10 stab wounds on the other using a butterfly knife. The victim was then rushed into the hospital where he unfortunately died from blood loss. Wow. We found it. Okay, but surely that's not the ending. That seems so underwhelming. Yeah, so it's probably a bad ending. I think, so this is chapter 4 of 5. I think this is the only ending that we can actually get until the last chapter gets out. So in a way, this was the only one that we could have gotten to actually finish this game before the end of the year. Interestingly enough. Let me just double check that though. Cause it's, I would assume there's probably not multiple endings in chapter 4. There are 3? Okay. So my guess is that there's a way to protect ourselves, to choose the Polina path, but protect ourselves from him attacking us. And then the bully path. It's probably, because it seems like there's been consistently 2 choices. But I think we probably don't have something because we've gotten other objects, like the ring we could have not gotten, for example. Let's see here. Okay. Well, anyway. Although they're listed under Chapter 5. Interesting. This is not Chapter 5. Okay, they're just listed under Chapter 5 because they're just ending, so they're listed after it. Yeah, so Chapter 5 hasn't come out yet. The teen suspect was taken to a police station for questioning, and he later confessed to the crime. The police have opened criminal proceedings on one charge of first-degree murder. There's also an investigation planned into the school's principal and his educational work deputy to establish if one of their students freely carrying a dangerous knife constitutes criminal negligence on their part. Detectives and forensic specialists are still working at the crime scene. The end. Wow. I probably would come back, yeah, and go down the bully path, see what the rest of Chapter 4 has and what it leads to with Chapter 5. But I probably won't play this game till Chapter 5 comes out. I wonder if our parents stay together because of this death. But that could be years. Chapter 4 took 1.5 years to come out, so... What's funny? Ooh, we got another achievement. You examined all objects in episode 4. Nice. Alright. Well, that's a big GG. We rolled credits. Very cool. I looked at the Steam page recent reviews, and one of the negatives said not to play this because Chapter 4 has intense gore and sexualization of a word. I didn't know if Twitch would flag if it was put so close to the word sexualization. Yeah, I mean, especially since it's not colored, but like definitely the stabbing sounds over and over was a little rough. But that's why we've got that maturity rating on, right? Yeah, that was intense. And yeah, some interesting themes in that scene with Polina. I'm interested to see what the other side would have been if we had... Because this was like the non-supernatural stuff too. It was very, mundane. We died from another person, right? None of the crazy spirit things that we had in Chapter 3. So that's interesting too. Okay, so there was supernatural stuff going on in the game. There was, yeah. This wasn't it. There was a lot of it, actually. The Chapter 3 ending was pretty heavy on it. And Chapter 1, there was some. Chapter 2, there was a lot more. I was confused because I thought this game had that stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of it. It's just kind of balanced by real life stuff at the same time, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so the path we ended up on was all just mundane So I'm assuming the other side is probably the more interesting side. But we really didn't have any choice here in Chapter 4. There was a choice that we made. Oh yeah, right here. So whether we chose Paulina, to pursue Paulina, or be part of Voltron. So this was the decision here. A few other places where we had decisions, but ultimately that's where it's split for Chapter 4, which is interesting because that was in Chapter 3. So she wasn't actually his girlfriend, it's just he really liked her. Alright, we're gonna have to tell Trell we beat Tiny Bunny. So that being said, my question is, okay, Spiritfarer is like 20 hours. We might be able to get Spiritfarer done before we start Spooky Month. I thought Tiny Bunny might take us a little bit longer. Clearly, you were meant to stare at Paulina for 25 minutes and 37 seconds on the spot, and then enter the Konami code in under a second rather than kissing her, and that would have unlocked the secret ending. Yeah. My bad. I forgot about that achievement. Alright, let's get Tiny Bunny on the list for our challenge. Tiny Bunny. Beaten. The game basically spelled it out for you, man. Shame on you. Yeah, I liked your comment, friendship. That was good. Alright, so the question is, do we play Spiritfarer next time and try and get it done before spooky season? Or go straight into spooky season and get more spooky games done? Tomorrow we're going to be playing... oh, you know what? Actually, this is tomorrow, as in today, we're going to be playing Halo Infinite. Yeah, let's do Spiritfarer afterward. Yeah, that's fair. I just know that once we get into November, we start to have to rush things because then we only have 2 more months left in the year. And that means we try and get done as many games as possible. So we get a little bit more picky on what we play to try and get that list down. Because who knows when I'll get to play in theme again. So yeah, I'm looking at a few things that we might be able to play for November, December. I've got a few things. Yeah. But, yeah, so I think we'll probably go straight into spooky season So we'll be playing Halo Infinite tomorrow, and then Thursday or Friday we'll probably play something. I think we're going to start with Metroid Dread. That's kind of our soft landing anyway into spooky season, so that works. And then from there we'll see how long that takes and what's next. Prel, thank you for this game. Whenever I finish a game, I'm always like, I'm looking forward to seeing how Trell plays this. So I'll say that now. I wonder what'll happen with Trell in this if he ever plays this game. I really want him to play Valfaris. I think Valfaris would be a great game to watch him play. I'm gonna be giving Trell the pass. Oh. Yeah. Well, I do gotta say this, the atmosphere and the visuals were stunning. I like that the story had weight in its decisions. I still don't know what really is happening here. Trell would probably forfeit on Valfaris right at that first BS checkpoint. I really hope he doesn't make that a habit of giving up on a game like he did with Grass Cutter. We gotta start thinking about what we're gonna give him next year for Rogue Scholar. Especially because with this game, Trell gave this to us when there was only 3 chapters. So this game wasn't even done, there wasn't actually an ending. By luck, we found an ending. But otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to beat this game. So I think we're going to need to implement a new rule of no early access games as part of the gift rule. Grasscutter was your first Wombat stream? Oh, so you came in December of last year, I'm guessing, or was it during some earlier streams? Like earlier in the year last year? I think it was one of your later... Okay, so it was in December of last year. Cool. I think Grasscutter was like the last game of the year last year. Let's look. No, we did The Looker too. But it was like one of the very last games I did for 2022. And I kind of just didn't show up for quite a while after, yeah. I think it was Tears of the Kingdom that I started showing it more regularly, yeah. Which was like, what, March? Tears of the Kingdom came out March or April? May 12th. So, yeah. So, I'm kind of the same way, Via. I don't tend to watch a lot of streams. Trell's pretty much the only streamer that I consistently still watch, and that's why I'm getting ready for work, so I don't always get to see everything. That's why I kind of disappear and I'm in and out during those streams. Gotta say, don't you dare make me feel old saying Tears of the Kingdom came out in March. I think it was Breath of the Wild came out in March way back when. Yeah, I think it was like March like 12th or 16th or something, 2016, I think, when Breath of the Wild came out. Maybe it was 2017. I don't know. I don't feel like looking it up, but... It was right around the time that the Switch released, yeah. Breath of the Wild release date March 3rd, 2017. I was very close. Didn't have the day, but I had the year and month. No, I think they released at the same time. Both versions released at the same time. Anyway, I think it's time we start thinking about who we're gonna raid. Let's see if we got any good people to raid tonight. Ooh, Claire Diviner's on. We're definitely gonna host Claire. We haven't hosted Claire in a while. She's playing a ROM hack, Super Metroid called Super Ethical Metroid. Not that I can recall, because I got it for the Wii U first, Via, and I didn't get it early. So, but anyway, thanks for joining me, Via. I know you didn't have to, so I appreciate you being here. But what I will say is, be safe, be well, be excellent, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow for some Halo Infinite. If not, we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us, and those of you watching the pod, hello and goodbye. Alright, good night, everyone. Let's raid some Claire, and tell her that Wombat sent you.